Have you ever won something, only to realize it cost you more than it gave you? This is the story of a man who learned that ego doesn't make you powerful. It makes you blind. In a prosperous kingdom lived a young ruler named Kael. He was talented, intelligent, and admired. But he carried one flaw heavy on his shoulders. He needed to be the best. Always. In everything. If someone praised another craftsman, Kael built something greater. If a soldier won a duel, Kael trained harder. If a scholar solved a puzzle, Kael solved two. And above all, Kael wore a crown. Not because he loved leading, but because he loved being seen as a leader. His crown became his identity. One night during a grand celebration, Kael overheard two villagers whispering. He used to be humble. He used to listen. Now he rules for applause. The words burned him. "I'll show them," he muttered. The next morning, Kael declared a challenge. "I will prove I am the most capable ruler in our history." He began pushing himself further than ever. He worked without rest, planned without pause, commanded without question. But the harder he tried to prove his greatness, the more isolated he became. Advisors stopped speaking freely. Friends stopped visiting. Villagers stopped approaching. Kael didn't notice. He was too busy polishing his crown. One evening, an old traveling sage arrived at the palace. He requested an audience. Kael sighed but allowed it. The sage looked at the young king and said, "You carry a heavy burden." Kael frowned. "A burden? I carry a kingdom." The sage shook his head. "No. You carry your crown." Kael laughed. "It weighs nothing." The sage responded, "Then take it off." Kael reached for the crown, but his hand froze. He swallowed. "I don't want to." The sage stepped closer. "That is because it doesn't rest on your head. It rests on your ego." Kael's heart tightened. "What are you saying?" "That crown is empty," the sage whispered. "It gives you no wisdom, no peace, no truth. But you cling to it as if your life depends on it." Kael felt anger rise. "This is disrespect." The sage nodded. Ego hears truth as insult. That night, Kael lay awake staring at the crown beside him. In the darkness it looked fragile, meaningless, small. He realized he hadn't led his people in months. He had only performed for them. He wasn't ruling a kingdom. He was defending an image. A hollow one. He picked up the crown and whispered, "Who am I without you?" The crown, silent and cold, offered no answer. The next morning, Kael walked to the village square. People turned, surprised. He climbed the old stone steps and removed his crown. Gasps filled the air. Kael placed the crown on the ground. "I have been leading from the wrong place," he said. "From pride, not purpose." He looked at his people with honest, unguarded eyes. "I don't want to rule for applause anymore. I want to rule for you." Silence. Then applause. Not of flattery, but of relief. Kael felt lighter than he had in years. Weeks passed. Kael rebuilt trust, listened deeply, asked for help, accepted criticism. His kingdom grew stronger. His relationships healed. And his heart grew quieter. He no longer needed the crown to feel complete. The sage visited once more. "You look free," he said. Kael nodded. "I am. Because I finally set down what wasn't mine to carry." The sage smiled. Then you have learned the truth. A crown built on ego is empty. But a leader who lets go of ego is full.